Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Realm of Ori. In this video, we will continue with Volume 16, Chapter 2, Interviews, Part 11. And before we start, this video contains spoilers from the Tensura Light Novel. And by the way guys, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click on the bell icon to get notifications for upcoming videos. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Diablo, Tessterosa, Carrera, Ultima, and their 4 subordinates were the last to be interviewed. I decided to proceed here despite the risks since I believed it would be impossible to meet with everyone. Kufufufu, is it my turn now? How long have I been waiting for this? Even though he was just kicked out yesterday afternoon, he's making a big deal out of it. Don't act like a fool, Diablo. Since the decision hasn't been made yet, I shouldn't have any trouble meeting with Rimuru-sama first. Carrera, who was hurt, snapped at Diablo. Ultima said that she was right. You're right, I also haven't given up yet. You shouldn't try to avoid this, in my opinion. She also had scars all over her body, and her injuries were so bad that it was hard to believe she was still alive. I mean, their clothes were a part of them, so the fact that they still weren't fixed showed that they were badly hurt. Still, they kept fighting like nothing was wrong. Demons are really hard, quit it. Fighting in front of Rimuru-sama as a sign of disrespect. Tessterosa stepped in, and things finally stopped being so crazy. By the way, Tessterosa moves with a lot of grace. She had already made me a cup of tea, even though the 3 of us were fighting. Her clothes were in great shape, as if to show how much more sophisticated she was. So, Rimuru-sama, regarding firing Diablo and picking one of us to be your second secretary, we haven't decided yet. What are we going to do? I didn't even know such a thing existed. Maybe it was a mistake to save the demons for last. I had to report to King Azazel even if Xian hadn't given me work that wasn't necessary. I should have dealt with these bothersome things first. I thought the same thing, but it was too late. I didn't have much time left, so I had to force them to do what I wanted. We don't actually have time for a leisurely meeting. Not to mention bringing in your subordinates, it won't be necessary. I don't think it needs to be done. It's a lot better than they deserve. Yeah, if you want to know anything about my men, I'll tell you. You're right, I don't want anything to get in the way of my time with Rimuru-sama. Nobody under my authority would act in such a dumb way. They all answered at the same time, and they were all smiling big. Oh, I couldn't help but answer. Seal also said that it wasn't necessary to bring all the demons in. Diablo and the others said, please do whatever you want. Seal already knew this, but I thought they were ignoring what everyone else wanted. I had to force myself to understand that it was so I could manage my subordinates. Keeping that in mind, I managed to persuade myself. Diablo was the first of the 4 to be interviewed. He had kicked the last 3 people out of the room and was now sitting happily across from me. Name: Diablo. Existence value: 6,666,666. Race: the primordial black of the 7 primordials, Devil Lord. Blessing: Rimuru's blessing. Title: Demon Lord. Magic: Dark magic, elemental magic. Skill: Ultimate skill, Temptation King Azazel. New resistance: physical attack nullification, mental attack nullification, natural effects nullification, abnormal condition nullification, holy demonic attack resistance. I thought, you're just so weird. The way his numbers were set up made it look like he had done something. But since Seal didn't say anything, I didn't bother to find out more. In the end, I still believe Diablo to be the most powerful of all my subordinates. His existence value is very high, and he has perfect resistances. Temptation King Azazel in Diablo has the following skills: Thought Acceleration, Demon Lord Haki, Universal Perception, Multidimensional Barrier, Spacetime Manipulation, Punitive Control, Charm Control, All of Creation, and World of Temptation. It was a skill that can do almost as much as I could. He seemed to have been wanting to brag about it for a long time, so he told me all about it with a lot of enthusiasm and care. Seal also seemed happy with how well Diablo understood. Without Ciel's help, I can't utilize my skills, so Diablo is clearly stronger than me. His number of magicals, his level, and the quality of his skill are all high. And superb demon all around who is adaptable in every way. I didn't know why he was my subordinate. Even though he liked to fight and was a little too attached to me, this guy's incredible strength was always very reliable. I was interested to see how a practice fight with Zijin would go now that he has evolved. I'm sure that it would be a fun fight. Also, Benimaru. When fighting, Benimaru was usually pretty quiet, as if he was holding himself back. But when he became serious, he would destroy everything prior to the start of the battle. In the labyrinth, You could fight to your heart's content without worrying about staying alive, but Benimaru probably wouldn't agree because it would show his hand. Zijin had the advantage over Benimaru due to the fact that water was more powerful than fire in attribute disputes. But they couldn't know the answer until they fought. Well, there's no need to choose between being better or worse. If Benimaru, Diablo, and Zijin were the best 3 fighters in my entourage, there would be no question about it. That was all for Diablo. Also, it looked like Gadra had officially joined Venom as one of his disciple. Disciple? Yes. Since he is now my servant, you won't have to worry about him betraying you. Although I had assumed he would be okay in any case, I was now definitely relieved. As a guardian of the labyrinth, Gadra was tied down, so he couldn't be made to do a lot of work, but Diablo didn't seem to mind. He seemed to think of his disciples differently than he did of his other subordinates. That's fine, but why did you choose to take him, though? Yes, this man still lacks faith in Rimuru-sama, but his desire for magic is genuine. He did have some good qualities as a person, so I decided to teach him in person and help him with his reincarnation art. So, it's a shame that he nearly died in the last battle. Rimuru-sama told him not to do it, so I reincarnated him as a demon to stop him from doing it. He turned into a race no one had ever heard of before, and they called him a metal demon. At this point, Diablo stopped talking and looked at me as if he needed more information. I have no idea. What have I done? Oh, I interfered. What do you mean by, oh? I thought we also needed a private meeting because of this, but it looks like you've already done a lot. I really wish I'd given it more thought. It sounded a lot like Beretta when this metal demon race was mentioned. Please don't worry about it. It's a totally different idea. I guess that's okay. I don't really have a problem with it, but I do find it annoying. I guess I got in the way a little bit. I didn't know how else to answer, so I told him the truth. Diablo was so happy that we ended up talking for a long time. To sum up, Diablo also liked Gadra. So, if something happened to him, he promised to include Gadra in his lineage. Because he was such a man, I would let him live his life as he wanted as long as he didn't bother me. I didn't hate the old man either, so I decided that there was no issue. But it would be awkward if he started turning out to be like a Dalman, so I'd have to prohibit overly faithful hearts. Even though he was Diablo's follower, that didn't mean he had the same beliefs. I would say no to it strongly. He's now your responsibility, so take care of him. From my point of view, Gadra sensei was definitely an elder, and even though I don't talk like an elder, Diablo was much older. Age had to fall apart because Diablo was so old that the word old itself would fall apart. This meant that Diablo now had 2 disciples. Tessterosa came in to take Diablo's place as soon as he bowed and left the room. She was very polite as she sat down across from me. I didn't plan to ask her to be my secretary, but I guess I could. Oops, no. If you did that, you would have to make Diablo a diplomatic marshal, and he would definitely lose control after that. I didn't want to make things worse than they already were, so I'd just keep things as they were. I also wanted to ask Tessterosa for a favor. Just as I was thinking about what to say, she gave me a paper. It included details about Tessterosa's subordinates. Name: Moss. Existence value: 1,079,397. Race: Demon Peer. Archduke class. Blessing: Dependent of the Primordial White. Title: The Empress Confidant. Magic: Dark Magic Elemental Magic. Skill: Unique Skill, Collector. New Resistance: Physical Attack Nullification, Mental Attack Nullification, Abnormal Condition Nullification, Natural Effects Nullification, Holy Demonic Attack Resistance. Name: Cian. Existence value: 286, 596. Race: Demon Peer. Viscount class. Blessing: Dependent of the Primordial White. Title: The Empress Secretary. Magic: Dark Magic Elemental Magic. Skill: Unique Skill, Recorder. New Resistance: Physical Attack Nullification, Mental Attack Nullification, Abnormal Condition Nullification, Natural Effects Nullification. This is what it appeared to be if you added it to the information that only I could read. Moss and Cian did not take part in the previous battles in a direct way. So, they had neither gotten into a crisis nor fallen into CL's hands. Also, what about Tessterosa? Name: Tessterosa. Existence value: 3,333,124. Race: Primordial White of the 7 Primordials, Devil Lord. Blessing: Rimuru's Blessing. Title: Killer Lord. Magic: Dark Magic Elemental Magic. Skill: Ultimate Skill, Death King Belial. New Resistance: Physical Attack Nullification, Mental Attack Nullification, natural effects nullification, abnormal condition nullification, holy demonic attack resistance. When compared to the start of the war, her value as a person had grown incomparably. It seemed to have increased even more than 3 times when compared to when she battled Velgrynd on the airship. It looks like the amount of magicule has grown a lot, right? Yes. It's too bad, because the demonstration would have been more interesting if it had happened before the battle with Velgrynd-sama. Fighting is not a fun way to spend time, is it? Well, I guess it's pointless to say that. I was once again reminded that quality, not quantity, was more important in battle. In this case, the experience in battle was more important than the number of magicules. Tessterosa and Velgrynd were both good at fighting, which is why they were able to fight so well against each other. She would have lost if the battle had gone on for a long time, but since she was just buying time, she was able to win. If Tessterosa's magicules had grown, it would mean that her fighting skills had also grown a lot. All of this was very positive, but it also meant that I had to keep an eye on her to make sure she didn't get out of hand. I would leave it up to Diablo for now, but I was thinking that maybe that part should get a little more attention. Still, Belial, King of Death? Like Tessterosa, it was a skill that smelled like danger. As for the powers it contains, thought acceleration, universal perception, demon lord hockey, spacetime manipulation, multidimensional barrier, all of creation, life domination, and world after death. It was also a world system skill. There was also a world after death, which I don't want to see. I'm afraid, so I'll let Seal take care of things. You said you were going to a private meeting, so you must have something to say that can't be talked about in public, right? What exactly does it say? I might be making too much of it, but I wanted to talk to you about it. I have to meet up with Masayuki and the others, so I'm not sure what to do. Oh, I see. So it has to do with how the Empire is treated. I couldn't believe how quickly she got everything. You're right. Masayuki seems troubled, but it's hard to answer a request that comes out of the blue. Okay, let me join the meeting if that's the case. I used to be in charge of the East, where the Empire is, so I'm sure I'll be able to work as a diplomat. Oh my, that's so reliable. In this way, Tessterosa could react in a flexible way. Tessterosa had a good track record with the Western nations, so I felt comfortable leaving it up to her once the policy was set. Then I'll count on you first thing in the morning. I get it, don't worry about it. The smile of Tessterosa was so reassuring that it helped me feel a little better. I had nothing else to say, so I stood up to say goodbye to Tessterosa. Rimuru-sama, there is one more thing I want to tell you. As you may recall, one of the generals of the Empire, Calgurio, presented Rimuru-sama with a petition for life. The words of Tessterosa also made me think of that. It wouldn't be easy, but it wouldn't be impossible either. Alright, so then, I'm glad Tessterosa remembered. This kind of care for the details was one of the things that made me trust Tessterosa so much. So, I could finish my work before dinner. I went with Tessterosa to the research facility.